6, maybe 10 to 6. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about more of the screen rant thing. Again, the analogy of the cat with chasing the laser pointer is the right one. Okay. The reason why I am mad right now at people is because they're not thinking. And they're not allowing people to have their own minds. They're not allowing people to reassess and look at the information. They're not giving people who have a different point of view a chance to speak at all. If you notice, everybody in every chat and everybody in every panel is the same person, only different names. Okay, done, done. The logic is gone, the rationality is gone, and the ability and the wherewithal and the motivation to wage war on the people who put that out there is nowhere to be seen. You know, Hidalgo and the Shills say jump, and the big YouTubers go, how high? Or the big YouTubers go, okay, we'll make the fans jump. You know, let me tell you something. You're doing what the story group wants you to do. Here's what's going on. They're trying to generate buzz, so JPEG feels obligated to give them what they want. A trilogy? A feature film fucking trilogy? And because well, I hope it's not true. It isn't true. I mean, and then I get yelled at and bashed because I'm like, I can't believe it. You're a smart person. You know this isn't going to happen. Why are we even talking about it like this? All right, then people wonder why I get frustrated. Why? No one listens anymore. No one sits back and discerns what's really going on. You know, maybe it's not in their wheelhouse and skill set to do that. But at the very least, most of us have actually gone through an education system that actually taught us how to read. I went to Catholic schools. You bet your fucking ass I learned how to read. And think. You know, learn how to discern, read between the lines, subtext. You know, when you learn how to read, you don't just learn how to read the letters, you learn for comprehension, so you know what it means, okay? And what it doesn't mean, and what it's not saying. And guess what? When you read an article, sometimes what it doesn't say is more important than what it said. Oh my God. What a revelation. We should actually talk about it. Yeah, I'm getting a little sarcastic because I'm getting a little bit sick of the black pill shit. The big YouTube channels. Oh, they're fans better than this shit. Okay? People are freaking out. They should assuage their fears. Unless they actually believe it. I mean, look, I'm gonna be brutally honest right now because I bet you guys know who I am. I'm always honest. The Book of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett wasn't horrible. Okay? Not as bad as some people are saying. Not as bad as some people, I swear to God, they're going to commit harakiri over it. I'll never watch Star Wars again. But you're talking about it. You know, so obviously care. Oh, Kenobi's going to suck. Let's see. And I know they know the facts. That Jon Favreau fired the first showrunner and had all the scripts rewritten. Okay? Because they were too much like The Mandalorian. And they were probably woke AF. Okay? And he put his own person in there. But now we have to doubt the Book of Boba Fett. Or, Kenobi because, oh, it might be woke. It's not going to be woke. And it's not going to be bad. Okay? I get, it's, if you watched the Book of Boba Fett, and I liked it. I mean, I didn't, get on my hands and knees and say thank God for it. But I didn't walk away feeling like my intelligence was violated. I was like, meh, You know, it was obviously watered down for kids. Okay, now why would that be? Because Disney felt like little kids were gonna watch it, and guess what? Okay, it was probably more adults watching it. Um, Disney's streaming viewers, 50% are hey Bill, 50% are adults with no kids like me. I mean, think about that. They might end up having to do a two-tier Disney Plus where you can get one and have an account for your kid or kids. You better have kids, not one, but several. Or you can get an account and have the account for you. So you can watch, stuff that's more age appropriate, okay, for you. And just, I don't mind watching the original Snow White and the, Cinderella. I have it actually. But, you could tell this script wasn't up to Jon Favreau's standards. Okay, you could tell. But what they did was it was a movie script written by a moron, and he probably didn't have enough time to really sit down and rework it the way it needed to be. Okay? And this is what we got. But to sit there and say, and this is what I saw in a chat just about 20 minutes ago, Star Wars is dead, and I really fear for Kenobi. Oh, fucking A. Kenobi is a Jon Favreau show. We had The Mandalorian. You could see how good it could have been if Jon Favreau had actually taken the Boba Fett script and trashed it and then taken another year or two to develop the story, okay? Which is what I think he should have done. But Disney needed the content, so here we are. Now, I want to ask you guys this, just to and get this back to the black pills, and you know who I'm talking about right now. Okay, Disney Plus Day had nothing. They didn't talk about the Book of Boba Fett. They didn't talk about anything. We had a little blurb about Kenobi. No Star Wars stuff. I wonder why. Why? Because shit is still going down. Okay? What do you think was going on? They didn't have anything ready. Nothing, Ahsoka's just starting to film in April. They're just getting Mando season 3 wrapping in March. What do you, what did you, really, when you think about, and it's going to come out and it's going to make the black pills look stupid, which I hope. What do you think was going to happen? They had a script that was a movie script. That was a terrible script. Okay? And James Mangold better be happy. He never turned that into a movie. Okay? They did the best they could. Maybe Kennedy was sneaking around the set. I don't know. But when you see her, and all right, this has already been forgotten. Go ask, what about the Kennedy smear in the first episode? Then you want to hear, yeah, I know, but. And then running around like everything that's been talked about the last year didn't really happen. Like the memory of a goldfish, and the attention span of an amoeba. Okay, so everything about Kennedy being put as a figurehead. Now we're not talking about that. Don't we remember that? Don't we actually remember we talked about that? Haven't we actually looked at the stuff in the press and realized, oh my God? Or wait, maybe getting people upset, letting the bad guys put something out there, seeing the fans get agitated, and then running with it. Instead of telling the fans, look, this isn't real. This is what we know. This is what we know, okay? But no, instead we gotta get everybody come here, Kojak. Come here. Come here. Come here. He wants to bother his dad. Anyway, and instead of telling the fans to calm down. All they do is agitate. You know? What?
Sorry, he's a bad dog.
I hope you guys are laughing. That was my husband. But all they're doing is agitating the fans more. Instead of saying, as far as we know, and as far as the information that's out there that's verifiable, it's literally, I would say this is literally not going to happen. There isn't going to be any. All right, you can go now. Okay, you're a good boy. You just gotta leave Daddy alone. There isn't anything that says there's going to be a Ray sequel trilogy. Yeah, that was cool. Mazurus just posted that Rotten Tomatoes is allegedly trying to say that the Book of Boba Fett was the worst, I think, rated show on whatever. I don't care. Look, there's no tangible evidence that there's going to be a 3-part franchise trilogy for Ray's Academy. All right? Then I get some moron telling me, oh my God, Star Wars Explained. And do you know who they are? They're part of the Pablo Hidalgo cabal. Of course they're going to say that. They want to, they have to. And the reason why they have to is because that's all they can do. What they're trying to do again is create buzz so Chapek says, okay, we'll do this. There are probably no scripts. Filoni and Favreau are going, no, we're not going to do that. And Jon Favreau has the last word on any feature films. And what I love about it is that Molly, or that, she-male, she cucks. I was saying, oh, Jon Favreau changed the name. What did he change it to? Kira? What did he change it to? Jaina? We don't, and is it set in that time period, or is it set around Luke? Okay? Is it set around the Jedi Academy? We don't know. By the way, I don't believe it anyway. Okay? And the reason why is there's no money in a sequel trilogy to the fucking sequel trilogy. No one fucking wants it. Okay, there's no market for it. The only people clamoring for it are the mentally disturbed people on Twitter and the mentally disturbed YouTubers at, Star Wars Explained, Hello Garrido, and the rest of that refuse. Okay? But then we have our own, and they know better. Again, we owe it to you guys, when you see something like that, to do our due diligence, to look into it, and then come up with what we think might be why it's out there. Okay? No, it's not financially viable. Oh, of course, he never should have. Hello Greedo is he in the military? I'd like to see his DD-214. It's not financially viable, like Dave said. It is not. There's no clamoring for it, like they think on Twitter. I would think that someone in the cabal would say, that Bob Chapek doesn't even know we're doing this. He's not on Twitter. He doesn't give a shit. Susan Arnold's not on Twitter. She don't give a shit. She doesn't definitely give a shit. The only people they're concerned about? Well, there are two groups: making us happy and making the investors happy. They don't run Disney. The investors do. And when the investors see bad things going on, you know, but if you look, if you're searching for gloom and doom, you'll find it. Like, for instance, Bob Iger wants to come back. And how do we know this? I heard a rumor. Can you verify it? No. He might think he wants to come back, but does Carlyle Group? No. Does, I mean, they're looking at this quarter's great call and looking at him going, get the fuck out of here. You are an albatross. Go away. Go, go to one of your satanic, you know, uh, eyes wide shut parties and leave us the fuck alone. Okay? You know what he could do? He's got enough money. He should invest in his own studio. That's what he should do. I really think that. I mean, he's old. He's still young enough to, be part of the club. And ooh, I've got this new thing, and we're optioning all this great shitty work, and go do that. And then that's what they all should do. All right. And what were they? What did he do? I'm really curious. Okay. The guy that you heard on here, he is a retired full-bird Marine Corps colonel. Okay. No shit. Okay. Um, I married well. I married up, trust me. um, but again, I want to go back to this. We owe you guys due diligence, and I didn't see any today. I saw hyperventilating, irrationality, and black pilling on steroids. I am sick of it, especially since that they know better. Yeah, all that. In fact, that was brought up on Midnight's Edge, and Andre was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely nothing to panic over." And this Screen Rant article, I mean, the moment I saw it, and then I saw where it came from, I'm like, they're desperate. They are desperate. Look, all this shit started right now. There are things that are about ready to get canceled. That's why. In the black and the flying monkeys at Lucasfilm know it. And I wouldn't doubt that Kennedy, now I predicted this, and so did somebody else, that she's going to be gone in between 6 and 9 months. Okay? I have nothing to prove it, but the Atlantic article showed that she doesn't have anything to stand on with Star Wars. So panicking and acting like a complete asshole about it, and I'm talking about, the general fandom, because, hey, if blah, blah, blah says it sucked, then I must think so too. Where has the thinking for yourself gone in this? Especially since I know some of the people that say they don't like it liked it. And the only reason why they're saying they don't like it is for clicks and money and be cool. But the cool club ain't cool. They're not cool. And they're gonna end up crashing and burning, okay? And I've said it before, and that's what they're most afraid of. It is ridiculous, and it's gotta stop. We're being laughed at by people who are about ready to get booted out the door. Won't that be a day? Oh, you bet your sweet Bippy. When that happens, I'm going to be going, if you'd listened to me and some others, you wouldn't be caught flat footed and you wouldn't look stupid. And oh, by the way, to you guys over there, don't you dare move those goalposts. All right, don't you dare set up more conditions, because that ain't going to fly anymore. No more conditions. All right. When Cameron says the ship is being steered away from the rocks, he meant it. Okay. And I think we're going to, all right, here's the thing. Valiant Renegade put this out. He uh, Disney is bringing back Moon Knight and the other MCU stuff from Netflix into Disney Plus. They're taking them back. Pretty sure they're gonna go. They need content first off, and it's always nice to have it. Second of all, um, it says there are changes coming to Disney Plus, probably in are you a kid or are you an adult, that kind of thing, and maybe a tweet, channel. They already have this, but when I log in, it says, is this Stephanie or is this for a kid? And I always say, well, it's for me, of course. And um, I don't know what the change is, but there might be a change. Okay. And with 50% of the people that watch Disney Plus being adults with no children, they've got a lot to do. Okay. Part of the problem with Boba Fett was the COVID shit. Another part of the problem was toning it down for kids. Another part of the problem was a shitty script that, you can't gloss over it. I don't care if you're freaking, think of the great screenwriter. You can't. All right. And Jon Favreau is a great screenwriter, by the way. He really is. You can't do it. Okay. You know, and he was being stretched thin, going to different places and being bothered at the Atlanta airport, which is a black hole of suck, by the way, if you've ever been there. Um, about Tamara's complaining he talks too much. And John's going, it's fine. He has to say the lines. You know, we're going to find out there's a reason that they did what they did. And the idea, I mean, when you hear, well, I want to see Boba Fett on a vendetta, killing people and stuff. He never did that in the Clone Wars. You know, he never did that anywhere. All right? This badass that they built up in their heads, first off, remembered what Obi-Wan Kenobi did when he was being chased by Jango and he hid on an asteroid or one of the rocks. It was a ring around that planet, Utapau, or no, Geonosis. And Fett remembered that and realized the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive is screwed up. And I'm gonna just see what happens, and I'm gonna have them when they dump the garbage. I'm gonna have the Slave One in the garbage, and we're just gonna float out and see what happens. And what do you know? The Falcon's engines light up, and off they go. And Fett sees it and follows him. He realizes he's going to Bespin. He knows Lando's there, so he goes to Bespin, hides out there, gets Vader and the fleet to come in. He never once, when he could have faced Han Solo, uh, mano a mano, either as a pilot or gun to gun. Okay? So to me, that's not a badass. You know what the badass is? You know this? Cad fucking Bane. Okay? He was the badass. And for anybody to wander around with this hyped up, it's like, what? Are you smoking meth? Did you see The Empire Strikes Back? He'd never faced Han Solo by himself. Why? Because Han probably would have beaten him. All right? I mean, even Harrison Ford himself said Han was a badass. You know, that's why I Love You, I Know came about. You don't want your badasses going out like a pussy. You want them to say something memorable and something a woman would never expect because that's what they do. All right? I mean, it's like, you know? I mean, Boba Fett didn't do anything that big. He waited for the Empire. Vader captured him, put on the carbonite, and said, here, take him. It's like, I mean, so I don't get it. Like, where's the badass? And then what I love about it In the Bounty Hunter, like those stupid comic books that no one's buying, Fett loses Han and has to go finding him. What a tough guy. But that's the woke bullshit Boba Fett. Okay. In the novel, I think Shadows of the Empire, uh, Fett is being very cagey. I mean that this is being clever and being intelligent like that isn't being a badass. Being a badass to me, when you're looking at a Western, is the end of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Lee Van Cleef and Clint Eastwood, or the gunfight between Johnny Ringo and Doc Holliday at the end of Tombstone. That's badass. Okay, that is badass. And one of the interesting things that's going to go flying right over the black pills' heads is when you're watching the fight and the banter between Cad Bane and Boba. There's stuff going on here. Cad Bane is Boba Fett's alter ego. The enemy becomes you. Okay, really, and that's what Boba Fett right in that moment is rejecting. He's rejecting what he was. He's rejecting the guy that scampered around chasing Han Solo all over the galaxy. All right. He's rejecting the idea of putting himself out there for people who don't give a shit about him and don't have honor within them. Okay? And that's what's going on there, and it was great. But no. We have to sit and complain. Hey, Sci-Fi Universe, we have to sit there and make demands. And then, Screen Rant puts this bullshit up there, which is, and again, I won't be listened to. Cameron put a thing about it up on his Patreon. If somebody has a link to it, one of my wrenches, they can put it in the chat. It's bullshit. I mean, you're looking at the last gasp, and the bulb always burns brightest right before it dies. Okay, something is definitely going on with them, and I'm like, why are you guys, instead of freaking out like it might be true, why don't we go, why are they doing this? Why are they putting this crap out there? Why are they? It's probably that they're terrified. They don't want whatever's happening to happen. They want what they think is great. And I'll tell you something. In the end of the day, when Kennedy leaves and whomever takes over Lucasfilm, even, I'm going to say it, even Jon Favreau, because, I don't put anything as being an impossibility. You can't with this. When you look at all of it, when this happens, and the people who at Lucasfilm who caused so much trouble are gone, you know what it's going to do? It's not only going to kill the shills, those channels will go. It's going to kill these black pill channels. And it's going to make a lot of those people look really stupid. Okay? You betcha Disney's watching and going, what the fuck? Hey, Matt Piranha, when you ask people what do they want, they can't tell you. They come up with this Boba Fett that has never existed in canon, never existed in Clone Wars. He was a kid. He was like, what, a 15-year-old? All right. He was 10 in Attack of the Clones. Clone Wars was 4 years, 5 years. So he was 14 or 15 years old by the end of it. And then we really don't see him or hear anything about him until the original trilogy. Okay. You got him showing up in the Han Solo origin story. Not impressive. Okay, he sneaks up on Han, hits him with an obedience drug, starts marching him towards the Slave One, and then gets ambushed by Lando. And he gets ahead of his own obedience drug, gets marched to the Slave One. Han programs it to leave, get out of the Nar Shadda's gravity well, and then he puts on hyperspace coordinates for like fucking Neverland. Okay, what a badass. First off, you need an obedience drug to calm somebody down, and then you let Lando, of all people, sneak up on you? I'm not impressed. I am not impressed. Okay? You know, here's the ultimate problem with all this stuff about FET and fan reaction. It's always about what each individual fan thought they were going to see and what they envisioned. And it's all about them. We have a problem with narcissism. Okay? All right? And it's invaded everywhere. Okay? You can't go anywhere and not have it. All right? On the internet. Um, and people need to understand that their perception of this character wasn't who the character was. It never was. And he was always a lot like his father, okay? He's a lot like his dad. He's not like, the Lee Van Cleef, Angel Eyes, Cad Bane. Cad Bane is Cad Bane. And now let's talk about something else. Because the Screen Rant thing, I did it again today. I went and checked, and you guys saw my first video. I went and looked at the IMDb for The Acolyte. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I mean, but I want to talk about something else. If not for TFA, we would not have had TLJ. So, the black pills can bitch and moan and only focus on TLJ, but the problem was always J.J. Abrams and The Force Awakens. Okay, it made $2.03 billion, and there's some semi-retarded dolts in the fandom that actually like that movie. I've seen it enough. Um, I've seen it enough, that movie enough, to understand that AJJ can't tell a story. He didn't have any uh, care or empathy or love for Han or Leia or Luke or what George wanted to see, what we wanted to see. And you can sit there and blame the suits, but if you don't stand up for something that you love or something that you're doing, work that you're doing, and it's something like that, you're a pussy. You're a fucking pussy. Okay? And I can't deal with it. I just, in my opinion, and I think it's a good opinion, in looking at the sequel trilogy, if not for TFA, it was a reboot. It was a shitty reboot. But if not for TFA, TLJ wouldn't exist. Yeah, well, Larry, I mean, he didn't do anything. He knew what they were doing was bad. He knew it. Well, they buy into it until they wake up in the morning and find out Kennedy's no longer there. All right. And then what are they going to do? Push the chairs back? I mean, you know, I can't see celebrating Alex Kurtzman leaving Star Trek. I can't because A, I don't really care, and B, um, you know, that franchise I think needs to be put on the shelf for a couple years, not touched at all. Everything Star Trek gone. Okay, it needs to just disappear for a while. Um, but I can't see them, I can't see the black pills being happy when Kennedy goes, even though they should, because that will be a new era in at Lucasfilm. Okay, the idea that Disney doesn't care is just fucking stupid. They bought the company for over $4 billion. They invested probably another 6 billion. They have not seen a fucking penny of profit. Now, you can sit there and try to, pretend like gross box office somehow makes it that Lucasfilm didn't just, uh, break even. They're in the black. No, they're not. I mean, that tells me you don't know how to do math. I know how to do this, and I don't like math. Okay? Remember, you go to the grocery store when you were a kid, and your mom and dad are writing out a check for groceries, and you're like, you don't know where the money came from? You don't know how a check can pay for something? They're kind of like that. Okay? Disney cuts a check for $225 million. Okay? That's gone. That's gone. Okay, that there's no money left. Every ounce of that budget is poof, magic's poof. And then they cut another check for half of that for marketing. Then they put the movie out. Okay, so they're probably spent about $400 million. Okay, and the movie makes $1 billion in gross. They don't get the $1 billion back. Okay, you'd have to have people lined up at every fucking movie theater in the world, you know. And Sci-Fi Universe is right; they have not. And there are people on our side that think they have because they're that stupid. Okay, they don't want to. We live in a world that is intellectually lazy. Like today, I belong to an Old West group on Facebook, and there's a very famous picture of Jesse. It is Jesse James laying in his casket because back then in the late 1800s, people were sick and took pictures of dead bodies of outlaws and oh, gross. That always freaked me out. I don't know why that people thought it was just morbid and icky. Um, anyway, and I think one of the guys standing by the casket was Frank James, by the way. Anyway, one guy, a know-it-all, shows up and goes, "Wasn't he hit in the back of the head with a large caliber pistol?" "Yeah." "Well, his face would be gone." "Would it?" "All right, it was a 44 long Colt. Let's go back and think about the cartridge that was used. 44, fine. How much powder was in it? And what kind of, you know what I'm saying? There's all sorts of technical things about probably that particular gun. And you're going, first off, the muzzle velocity was about half again as fast. Okay? I mean, Abraham Lincoln was shot, what, twice in the head? He didn't lose his face. It just, this is the stupidity of people. Okay? They don't think. They're intellectually lazy. All right? It's the details, and they don't want to. They don't look. They don't want to look it up on IMDb Pro. They don't have it. They're not going to spend the money. It's easier to go on a channel and listen to you know, somebody who thinks he speaks for all the fans, screaming and ranting and raving, and pantsing himself in front of everybody, by the way. It's easier to do that. It's easier to jump than it is to go, I think this is bullshit. I need to look more into this. Again, I and every other YouTuber have a mission, and it's something we must do. And it is to be brutally honest with you guys and to do our due diligence to get you the best information we can. Okay, period. All right? You know, freaking out about Han. Why would you want him in that show? It was good. All right, I liked it. I didn't feel it. I didn't, because I knew where they were going with it, and I knew the imagery. Of course, do any of these black pills know the imagery? Lawrence of Arabia, A Man Called Horse. No, they don't know these movies even exist. And those that do aren't going to bring that up because it doesn't fit their narrative. Um, at the end, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Lee Van Cleef versus, Clint Eastwood. And the idea that a badass is some guy that just kills people. I'm sure Rob O'Neill, and if Chris Kyle was alive, would say, no, that's not a badass. That's not a badass, that's a psychopath. Which is, I think, what they all expected and wanted, to be honest. And again, we'll go back to the Rant article. It was timed perfectly to get the fans all agitated. All right? Obi-Wan Kenobi's going to be fine. Okay? Sure, there are going to be black pills, the EU freakouts who will hate it. The self-appointed holocron guardians, okay, which is what we should call them. They'll freak out, but I think it's going to be fine, and I have no doubts. Deborah Chow, whose directorial debut in Mandalorian was great, no doubts she'll be fine. All right, because they've taken extra due diligence in filming Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, so. And when you're, I don't know if I have any faith in Obi-Wan. Just let it go, Francine. When you're sitting around and you see a bunch of grown men acting like a bunch of bitchy old women, stop it. We want to have fun. This is how you should talk about shows. Okay, this part was good. I didn't like this. This was weak. But overall, I wasn't intellectually insulted. Okay? Opposite of The Last Jedi. Opposite of The Force Awakens. Opposite of The Rise of Dipshit. Right? Where everything that you thought you knew about the franchise and how much you loved it was dumped in the trash and set on fire. Okay? And gasoline added to it. All right? You couldn't look at it intellectually. You couldn't. None of this. It was trash from the moment it was started filming to the very end. 2 weeks before The Rise of Skywalker actually was in the theaters. Okay? It's intellectually insulting for anybody to tell me that it was okay when Kyle Ron was redeemed. Hey, H-Boomer. No, it wasn't. That's a character that didn't deserve redemption. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm that person. I need him not to be. And I think everybody who watched that shitty TV show or movie, whatever the fuck TFA was, felt that way. Okay? All right? Yeah, and Dave is right. They canceled his book because they were afraid it was going to come out that the movie, I mean, it was trash. The only reason why anybody wanted to go see it was to see Harrison Ford. And then we sure as hell didn't want to see what happened. I mean, when there's an audible horrified gasp and little kids upset, and old women in front of me going, oh my God, freaking out. You know, just got a message from Mexican Iron Man. I just can't, you know, you walk out going, that was really good, and you're lying to yourself. You're not uplifted. You don't want to go home and watch all the movies over again. You're just like, and then you realize the next year that you're honest with yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror going, that was a really shitty fucking movie. Okay, so then you're hoping Ryan Johnson can fix it. Oh no 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 no. He was gonna do worse. And what I think, and I agree with Nerdonymous about this, is that JJ gave him full carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wanted. Okay, and he did. Okay. So when I hear people screaming about TLJ, it's like the entire trilogy sucked. And oh, by the way, Luke fans, it wasn't you that got hurt. Everybody got hurt. You know, even the R2D2 fans got hurt. Okay? It was a shitty, shitty, shitty thing. Okay? You know? I mean, and that's what we have to admit to. Okay? You can't fix TFA. The new characters all sucked. Oh, they could. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I gotta tell you something. There's nothing closer to God on YouTube than a raging YouTuber. Honestly, there really isn't. And it's like, and these are people I admire, people I trusted. It's like, what is wrong with you? And they know they're wrong. They know it. If they talk to mutual friends of ours, they know they're gonna. No, that's not. It's not happening. Anyway, I gotta go because I gotta make dinner. And I got a message from Mike, so I gotta check it out. Anyway, you guys have a great evening. If you're gonna watch Super Bowl, I am not. I'm probably gonna watch a movie and curl up under a blanket and in my flannel PJs and just be. But you guys have a good evening and hope whatever team you're cheering for wins. I quit watching football the moment it became cool to kneel down for the national anthem. But, I don't think that's very cool. And it's disrespectful. And it proves the NFL's support for the military was never real to begin with. See you guys around the galaxy. And thanks for all you guys being here in the chat. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and get more people to come on by. People are disillusioned with everybody freaking out. Have them stop by here. All right? We'll get real. All right. See you guys later.